the movies have more power sometimes to bring stuff out than like me saying something, but people resonate when they see it. I also think about a practice that I've gotten into myself, and it's affirmation cards. And so I have a deck, like it's literally a deck of 52 cards. And so each week it's a new card, and there's a little journal that comes with it, and it provides like affirmations for people to practice every day just to say. So like my affirmation this week is, I enjoy healthy and fulfilling relationships. And every week it changes, and it's about body image, it's about the way in which I engage in the world and relationship, it's about my sense of self. And then I often recommend like Brene Brown everything to people that are talking about worthiness and image. And her stuff, I think high school students could totally deal with it. But I think the biggest thing is creating a space, and our young women will be vulnerable with us when we're vulnerable with them, right? So as long as we as women act like as long as we act like our stuff doesn't stink, or that we've got it all together, like we all know that we don't, right? Or we know that we don't, but a lot of times our young women don't know that we don't, when we do that, it creates just even more space. So creating the space. And then also, who are the other women that like you work with that could help, because like you can't mentor everyone and you can't do that for everyone, but to create those spaces for moments for people to connect. So, yeah.
I was curious when you started out and identified yourself, and the first thing, one of the things you said, I'm female, but I'm also black. And I think around this room, I don't think any of us sat and said, we're this and we're white. And do you think that's kind of this kind of underlying racism that's hidden in this country, and how do we, and after this last election and all the kind of underlying things coming out, how do we, as Christians and followers, start to bridge those and mend that at a new level? Do you kind of get where I'm going with that? Because we don't do that here in Alexandria or whatever, and think that way.
Yeah.
Question a little bit. Does that answer your question?
Yeah. So how is it, so he noticed that I mentioned that I'm female and I'm black, so the bringing out the race, and so kind of why is that maybe, and what significance does that have, and then how do we actually, given the current climate in our country, deal with that, bridge that, recognize that. So I would say that anytime you're a majority, you don't have to think about certain things. And that's true for all of us, right? So use our American identity, because that's another identity that we all carry. Like none of us in the room would say, oh, I'm American, because we're in the United States of America, by and large. And all of us, maybe that's something that's like wallpaper to us, but like we go someplace where we're not American, and you recognize very quickly that that American identity has some things that go with it, right? And so I think that in my case, being in a country where I'm not the majority, then means I'm very conscious of my race. And I use like silly examples sometimes, right? So I travel a lot. For the longest time, most hotels would not have shower caps. Now, before I cut my hair, I don't wash my hair every day. Most black people don't wash their hair, but once or twice, once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks, because our hair doesn't produce as much oil. So when I take a shower, I don't like rainfall shower heads, which are all the rage, because I have to stand under and get my hair wet. So I'm showering and the shower's coming like this, and it's a problem. Or you know what a lot of us do? The plastic bags you get from the grocery store, I would travel with those before I just started traveling with disposable plastic bags, because the shower people weren't thinking about me. But I could find a hair dryer, shampoo, all this other stuff, and I'm like, well, I'm only gonna be here for 3 days, I'm not gonna wash my hair. Or I use the example of even the products, like lotion. So we talk about being, and this is, again, silly, but we talk about being ashy in my culture, like when do white people get ashy? No. So like when our skin is really, really dry, right? And so you have to moisturize it every day. And you go certain places, either they don't have lotion or the lotion they have is very thin lotion, so you have to end up buying your own products. If you ever go to a Walgreens or any Target or whatever, there's normally an ethnic hair care aisle, right? That's like, now it's getting bigger, like we're making moves. But like, it used to be like these would be the products for me right here. But then there would be all these other products for what would be considered the majority culture. So it's hard to not know that you're in the minority when even like your social engagement, shopping, regular things are not present in places. Like you have to look harder. If I'm in certain places, I know that I don't shop at this store because they just won't have my stuff and I gotta go here. Or like people used to talk about the Band-Aid test. Like obviously most Band-Aids now, like they even make the clear ones, but back in the day it was like, oh, these are flesh colored or nude. I hate the word nude in female clothing because I guarantee you the color nude is not gonna be nude on me. And that's just like nude heels. I've been wanting some nude heels, but they're not my nude. They're like white people nude. And even sometimes they're not, they're pink. Like it's not even really nude. So it's those type of things that are the little things. So you already know that you're growing up in a different place. You know, or I think about, we always had subscriptions to Ebony, Essence, and Jet, black magazines in my house. Because all the other magazines that existed never really had advertisements. And now it's changing a little bit, you know, like it's 2016, there's some things that have changed since I was a child. But you recognize that, oh, the way that I look or the characteristics that I embody are not a part of what is the dominant culture. And so then that becomes something that is a marker for who you are. Not good, not bad, but it just is. So I start off by that introduction to say, like, who I am. Like, I need you to see who I am because it means different things, right? I think I'm the only black person in here. And I'm very aware of that. Now, I consider this a semi-safe space because people invited me. They knew I was black, and my mom asked questions about that. She was like, well, do they know what you look like? I said, yeah, they got my picture. Because you go, and again, we're from the South. The South is very different also from the North. I mean, y'all got the Minnesota nice, which I find can be a little bit more passive-aggressive than down South, because I'd rather you just tell me you don't like me. But, you know, that becomes a reality. When you go places and you realize you're the only one, you recognize, okay, like, there's some code switching that's going to happen here. So I don't like to give advice because you're not going to come back and say, well, Rozella said to do this. No. But one of the things that I invite folks to is to make sure that like you're seeing with all of your eyes, not just the parts of yourself that you want to see with, right? So being colorblind hasn't helped anyone in our society. Because in our society, race is an issue. You know, we were a country that was founded on the backs of people that looked a certain way and were classified as slaves because of how they looked. We were a country that having a relationship with our indigenous peoples because they were different from folks that were coming over and looked a certain way. And that stuff is difficult. Like, I'm not saying it's easy conversations, but it doesn't help any of us when we don't take that seriously. And the last thing I'll just say about that is, you know, the Civil Rights Act of 1965, MLK was shot in 67, I'm just thinking. My mom was born in 55, so she was 10 when that happened. So we're only, I don't do math, 50-something years out, right? From a legal and legitimized way of segregating people, and not just black folks, right? Like, I don't always even go back to black and white because it goes deeper than that, but we had a government and system and way of being based on the color of people's skin. So for us then to all of a sudden 50-something years later be like, well, I don't know where that came from. I guarantee you people that look like me or might be a little lighter than me are very aware that that's always been there. You know, I don't think we've made as much progress as we had liked to think we had. So I did not bring up that question, by the way. I was on my best behavior. Thank you for asking that, though. It's an excellent question.
Going once. And when she's gone, she's really far away. But I imagine you'd engage us through email or text or
social
fun
media,
things like
anything,
that.
yes.
Social media any
Yeah.
day. We can't thank you enough. I think of all of the ideas. I have a whole notebook full of ideas that you shared tonight because I think so much of what you've said, all of what you said, is worth sitting and reflecting on. and thinking about and living into and remembering whose we are, and that we have this God who loves us in transforming ways, and in radical ways, right? That man, we get to go out and do the same and be radical with love as well. And so thank you for articulating it so well and so beautifully, and for flying all the way here in this really, really cold, cold weather. We loved having you. Let's thank Rozella one more time. Thank